Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. Crazy story, I used to own a Longines Dolce Vita and I got rid of it and bought the Hamilton Boulton and now I own a Dolce Vita again. What in the world? Let me explain why and we'll review this watch. So let us begin. Alright, so here's the box that my latest Dolce Vita arrived in. There's a drawer here with a small booklet in it. Basically an instruction book. Definitely decently bound. Interesting. And the box itself. And in the box, I have the strap that it arrived on. So this particular model had the bright brown leather on there, and it has a pretty decent taper to it. So I haven't yet been able to put this buckle on the strap that I'm currently wearing the watch on, but I do plan on buying some nice straps for this, and if I get one that's tapered enough, I'll definitely be using this. You can see the watch takes an odd lug width of 17, kind of a pain, but it's fine. And here is the watch itself. It looks nearly identical to the Dolce Vita that I used to own, except that this one is a bit smaller, thinner, and it has a sub-second dial. So the story behind this watch, I recently took a trip to my favorite city with the family to do some Christmas shopping and whatnot, and there's a jewelry store there that sells Cartier watches. So I decided to look to see if they had a Tank Americaine in medium. Last time I went there, they only had large, and this time they did have one. So I tried it on. However, I never really noticed anything weird with the lugs on that watch until this time around. It looked like the lugs were sticking way out past the strap, at least on the piece that I was wearing. But the size was perfect. Now I noticed this watch across the store in a different case. So I waited, it was super busy, so it took a while, but I wanted to get the reference number so that when I look these up online, because I have been keeping my eyes open for quartz Dolce Vitas because they come with that sub-second style instead of a date. And when a coworker finally came around, I tried this watch on and it looked absolutely amazing. This was the watch I was going to go after, even instead of the Tank Americaine. And I figured being quartz, I may be able to pick it up right then and there. These watches are not as inexpensive as you would think. I was expecting something kind of Hamilton Boulton price-wise. No. This is as expensive as the mechanical Dolce Vitas, so I had to wait. So sadly, I did not purchase this in person, but the cool thing is, that adventure happened so close to when I did purchase this that it kind of feels like I did. So let's dive into the review here. I have this on a black alligator strap, or crocodile strap. It's embossed. I do plan on eventually getting a really nice, genuine alligator strap, but for now this one works. As I mentioned, it's 17 millimeters, which is okay with me because I'm glad that they went smaller rather than larger. So instead of being 18 millimeters, I'll take 1 millimeter less because I think it aids in the aesthetic of this watch. The lugs are nice and small on this, so they don't overhang at all. I swear the Cartier Tank Americaine lugs were kind of like horns sticking out here, but I don't know. Maybe that was just me. This case is nice and thin compared to the one that I used to own. All the proportions on this are just absolutely dialed in. This is the size that I thought my other Dolce Vita was going to be when I purchased it. So when it had arrived, even though I hadn't yet really gone small, it looked big to me. This one looks just right. The crown on here is what you get with a Dolce Vita, just like my old watch had. There's like a ridge in the middle here. And with this watch, that's not a problem at all because this is quartz. With my other one, even though it was an automatic, you do have to kind of wake it up a bit, and trying to wind that watch with this crown was absolutely miserable. So let's pop this out. And we'll try and set the time, which isn't bad, even though this crown is smooth and has that ridge in the middle. Setting the time isn't too terrible, which is pretty cool. And we'll pop this back in, and there goes the sub-seconds. Looking at the case back, it is nicely brushed and etched. Very cool. We have Longines Dolce Vita there. All stainless steel, Swiss made. Then we have a reference number down at the bottom there. It's pretty cool. I like how this is all brushed and not mirrored. That's pretty cool. And of course, the real stars of the show are the crystal and the dial. Just like the Dolce Vita that I used to own, this one has an absolutely amazing looking crystal. It's sapphire, and just look at how it distorts. It's just crazy. And it looks so good when it's on your wrist. And look at that dial, the texture on there. This design is so great. The hands are blued. You can kind of see them there. Very cool. It is flat on the case back, but the overall impression of the watch is that it's kind of curving around your wrist a bit. This watch is actually considered a lady's watch, but it's pretty much the same size as the Cartier Tank Americaine Medium. And it really lines up with my vintage tank style watches that were designated as men's watches. So this isn't a super dainty tank style watch, but it is smaller than the men's versions. So if you like contemporary sizes or you have a larger wrist, you can go with the Longines Dolce Vita, like the one that I used to own. It's a bit larger than this. But for you, this one might be a little small. As for the specifications on this watch, the model number is L5.512.4.71.4. The case size is 23 millimeters. The case height is 37 millimeters. The case thickness is 7.2 millimeters. The case material is stainless steel. The lug width is 17 millimeters. The crystal is sapphire. And the movement inside this watch is the Longines caliber L176. Alright, so let me take off my vintage Hamilton tank. And before I do, here's a size comparison. So this Longines really isn't that bad size-wise. I feel like the proportions are pretty well perfect for a tank style watch. Whether you're a man or a woman, I don't think it matters with this particular size. There are some that are so tiny that it's definitely a stretch if you're a guy wearing it, but this one is pretty well unisex, in my opinion. Alright, so let me take this watch off, and we'll see what it's like wearing the brand new Dolce Vita. Alright, so here is the Longines Dolce Vita on my 7-inch wrist. And just look at that watch. That is so amazing. And it just wears so much better than my old one, in my opinion. It just looks gorgeous. That is so amazing. And I love that it's a no-date variant. I like that sub-seconds. It is quartz, so it's a grab-and-go piece. Look at that crystal. And it looks so much thinner. Oh, that is a tank watch. So cool. And one interesting thing is these seem to hold their value pretty well. When I was hunting for bargains on this after seeing it in person, I really didn't find a whole lot. Even if you go to the gray market, they're still asking close to their retail price. Kind of a bonus thing. Cool. Absolutely gorgeous. So there you have it, the absolutely brilliant Dolce Vita in a reduced size with the sub-second style. This watch is absolutely gorgeous, brilliant, amazing. I'm so glad that I've arrived at this particular model of Dolce Vita. So cool. Thanks for watching.